Hello there, this is Eldon from Focus Futures Consultancy. I hope you've all had a great start to the year. I can't believe that it is February. Wow, where did the time go? It was an interesting January for me, I can say that, in that I've been doing dry January and we kept still. But the other thing why it was also an interesting January is that I have been training for the Brighton Marathon and I'm now into week 5 of training. And one of the major reasons why I'm doing the Brighton Marathon, as you can see on my t-shirt over here, I'm going to be running this marathon for prostate cancer. I'm sure you're probably all aware that prostate cancer is very common, and in actual fact, it's probably the most commonly diagnosed cancer in men in the UK. And in terms of sort of some of the numbers about it, I mean, they say that there's about 63,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer every year in the UK. And in fact, they say as many as 12,000 people or 12,000 men die from prostate cancer annually in the UK. Overall, with prostate cancer, to say sort of its level of how common it is, I think they reckon that about 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. But there are some really big disparities when it comes to prostate cancer, in that, in particularly, blokes like myself, I come from the BAME community, and in particularly black men, we have a significantly higher risk. And in fact, they say that about 1 in 4 men are actually tend to get this in their tend to get a diagnosis with this, and this is actually twice the risk of other ethnic groups. And obviously as well, our mortality risk is incredibly high, and they say that roughly 1 in 12 black men will die from prostate cancer, versus maybe 1 in 24 white men will die from it as well. So it's a very, very, very serious disease, and you know, it has had a profound impact on me in my lifetime. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about my story. So unfortunately, it was just over sort of 13, 14 years ago. My dad, Robert Davis, he passed away with cancer, and initially it was prostate cancer. Truly sad. You know, it's one of those sort of cancers that if you sort of find out early, and there's the right interventions and the right treatment, you know, many men will either get a full recovery, or they completely sort of, or the other option, they can live with it. It's that sort of cancer. So he's somebody that passed away, and that had a massive impact for me and the rest of it. And perhaps even more sad in my situation, and I don't normally talk about this to a lot of people, is that I didn't see my dad for over 23 years. So you can imagine that, you know, I've not seen him for 20 or 23 odd years, and then obviously he came into my life. And then unfortunately, you know, a few years later, he was gone, basically. So that's an immensely, for me, and obviously his wife, and for my brother Akil, was immensely sad. And we, you know, he lives with us still, but it's an immensely sad story. There's also my grandfather as well, George Cain. He also got cancer, this same cancer as well. And you know, he obviously passed away. You know, but this is going back probably over sort of 25, 30 years ago now, in that instance. But so what I'm trying to say to you is that, yeah, look, it's, you know, this is a cancer that has impacted many people. There are also good stories, you know, and I think it's worth also sharing a few of those. Quite recently, my uncle, he also had prostate cancer, and he was diagnosed, and in the end, he's been able to sort of bounce through, and in fact now he's, you know, leading a great life again, and he's even doing sort of judo training once a week, which is amazing from where he was a few years ago. I also know one of my wife's good friends, not going to say the name in this instance, but he also had this as well, and he's now he's back to work now, and he's leading a great life as well. And then also, you know, an interesting story again that cropped up was a chap that has been a career coach to me over a couple of years. He also told me, actually, and I never knew about this, but he got it, and he was able to get some of the latest kind of methods, and he was able to sort of have a very accelerated treatment, and he was able to make a very quick bounce back. So yeah, it's one of those sort of things that there are so many people that get it, but it's great when people make these recoveries, but then there are those that don't make these recoveries. But what I'm going to ask you, as I said, so look, over the next few months or so I'm going to be doing the Hampton Court Half Marathon, and then I'm also going to be, and that's I think about the 22nd of March, and then I think it's the middle of April, around the 12th of April, I'm going to be doing the Brighton Full Marathon. So what I'll say to you is that if, obviously first and foremost for the point of view of, as I say the word, from the point of view of awareness, please make sure, keep an eye on these elder men. Any sort of man that's over the age of sort of 45, it's worth sort of keeping your eyes and ears on any sort of symptoms, any sort of irregularities. Go and get a PSA test if you think there's anything awry. So I think that's the first thing. And obviously on the other side of it is that if you have got any money at all or any spare change, feel free to pledge some money towards this particular charity, because there are so many people. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, wherever you're from. It is something that hits a lot of men in this country. But anyway, thank you very much for taking a moment to listen to me today, and be good to one another. And certainly I look forward to seeing a few messages of support on this journey. And yeah, have a great day. Be good to one another. Bye bye.